All right, welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Targeted Individual Experience. So to continue harassment, to continue illegal surveillance, to continue illegal remote neural monitoring from the illegal microchip by the New York Federal Department and the FBI, CIA, to monitor, to subject one to attempting to pacify one's way of thinking, in which leave that victim to be compliant and acceptable of the abuses and the terrorism that's being done to the victims, right? The non-consensual human experimentation. Okay? So as I was coming out the apartment to head out, going to the grocery store, what they will do, again, because they know I am leaving, they know I'm going to the grocery store because the remote no monitoring, they will engage in, pressing, like for example, I get in the elevator and someone had pressed the third floor and the first floor, okay? Now, the elevator came up, someone got out of the elevator on the 5th floor, because, they start talking loud because they wanted me to know that it's them, right? And that they know where I'm going and they have me under surveillance, okay? Get in the elevator, 3rd floor. Elevator stops on the 3rd floor, no one's there, right? No one's coming out, okay? Elevator on the 1st floor, again, I didn't press the buttons, already on the 1st floor. Of course, no one's there again, right? So they do this. I talk about the use of numbers, right? The number 3, 1, it can go all the way up to, whatever number. Usually when it's the lower number, okay, they are incinerating, people who they're trying to use to accuse me of crimes, whatever those crimes are, right? And when it's a higher number, particularly in the hundreds or in the thousands, it's money, right? In terms of either lowering my disability or saying that if I play the lottery or use a lottery theme, that they're going to assassinate me and stuff like that, or what have you, right? It's always like that, because how I've trained my mind to think in those terms is in terms of lawsuits filed against these entities, the government entities, and the individuals who are involved and who are perpetrating these programs, which are criminal programs. And because they're in the positions of power and authority, they can make it legal, right? Now, legal doesn't always mean right. Legal doesn't always means justifiable, right? Because they love to talk about, I love to engage in this rhetoric of they're justified in doing what they're doing. They're not justified in doing what they're doing. They make justification in that sense, right? But other than that, are they so highly moral or what have you? This is not about morality, right? Many people have different interpretation of what morality is. What righteousness is another theme that they like to use. These are all religious theme being used in that sense to try to justify and excuse and explain what it is that they do. But we all know that it's lies, it's deception. And you look at the definition of coercive persuasion program, right? Particularly the definition given by one of the world's most renowned expert on cult, Margaret Singer, right? Talks about the deceptions, the deceiving people, right? The lies that is being told to engage in these sort of behavior, and the excuse that they give in order to, again, claim justification. Okay? It's the same way religious people who engage in, or I could say religious cults who engage in negative behavior and negative conditioning of their followers, you know, they always claim righteous cause. You know, there's a saying, right? Evil comes wrapped in the form of good intention, or evil comes in the form of goodwill, right? People pretending in these organizations, religious organizations, to engage in targeting someone and using justification, using the idea of being warriors and soldiers for God or for Jesus, okay? Again, using those sort of rhetoric. And the government, again, those within the government, security agencies, who are in positions of power, who are religious believers, who engage and understand the psychological manipulation because they have engaged in psychological programs and experimentations such to carry out these things, and particularly in the black community. Like I always talk about us being believers instead of being critical thinkers, and being able to critically analyze or engage in critical analysis of things that are being done in our community. Okay, even though we know when they come in talking about this is going to help the community, we know it doesn't. But because we ignore the reality, we accept it because these are people in suits with badges that they flash in our face, thinking that they have good intention. Even the ones that look like us, okay? Because again of how they're conditioned, and they want to have positions within certain organizations and white institutions that they are willing to sacrifice their people in order to get those positions and maintain and keep those positions. All right, Dr. Amos Wilson explained it in a, in a way in which I don't think anybody has, any black psychologist has. Okay, as he's breaking down the mindset, just like Franz Phantom. But Dr. Amos Wilson is a genius, brilliant man who never got the recognition from his own people that he deserved. But this is what they do to us as black people when it comes to our black scholars who study the system of white racism and its effects on black people in particular. They have conditioned us to ignore them, to not listen to them. And so this is why I teach my children and speak to them about the truth, right? Keep them out of the religious belief system and institutions. Okay. Now, what do you see this pattern here? What the woman coming out of the building with no shirt or no jacket? It's cold out here. Look at how it is freezing out. Okay. Right. Like again, you'll see them engage in this sort of rhetoric and tactics, but that's why exposing them is the best thing I can do. And it's the best thing for us as a people, because we don't quite understand how others are being used against us and how we are being used against ourselves. Okay? According to a pro. Like I said, we have been conditioned with a short-term memory, and we have been conditioned to where we don't want to see each other succeed or have success in any way, because if our lives are not going how we plan, then those around us who look like us lives cannot go as well. Or cannot succeed. So we have a built-in automatic attack mindset, and where we will use negative methods and tactics and schemes to bring each other down. Okay, this goes for our relationship, our family life, business, what have you, business ventures, and so forth. This is why you see a lot of these, what is called hustlenomics, right? Particularly with these, particularly today with women. Women have become some of the most biggest hustlers that manipulate and use other black women to gain wealth while lying, cheating their followers, right? So we talk about people like, especially on social media, YouTube, have you, women like, what's her name, Stormy, I forgot her last name, but this is a woman who will become a multimillionaire, right? Again, being coached by white men who are ultimately the ones thoroughly benefiting off of using her, though she is benefiting, right? But the use of a black face, particularly a black female face, and allowing her to gain, some, money, a couple millions of dollars, but ultimately, as Dr. Amos Wilson said, that when you see a black person like that, particularly when they have white people behind them, he talks about, I know we talk about Mike Tyson being paid 120 something million for a fight, and he said, guess how much you think these white people are making off of it, right? You're talking about maybe 400 or 500 million, right? Look at Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle talk about this, right? They offered him 50 million when he's made them hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's why he left, and they attacked him for it, right? They literally attacked him, tried to drive him out of his mind. So yeah, too many of us are unaware. We're too ignorant because we're believers. We're too religious. And I keep saying, even your own Bible will tell you, right? People are destroyed for lack of knowledge because they've become too religious, too superstitious. So they have made us more religious and more superstitious than any other group of people, right? So they can use us and have us use each other and destroy each other, while they sit back and watch and they say, you know what, it was their fault. That's why I say I don't blame black people for behaving the way that they behave, because they're displaying the symptoms of a program that has been conditioned into their mind by white racists. All right, talk to you guys in the next video.